Justin Herbert has not been healthy, basically starting, well, I'll go just since last year, 2024. He had foot injuries, ankle injuries. The offense was scaled back. Now having this running Herbert who looked like beast mode out there hitting linebackers, cornerbacks, that's going to be a huge difference maker to this game. And I do think pound for pound, Chargers are going to have a much better situation against the Raiders.
Marcus, let's start off with you. What are you expecting from the Kansas City Chiefs here in week 2?
So honestly, whoever it is, be it Tyquan Thornton, Juju, Jalen Royals, whoever is playing at our wide receiver 2 next week, go to Dory Jackson and dominate this guy. I know it's a couple months after the Super Bowl. It's 7 months later after the Super Bowl, but this is a very different type of Eagles team we're seeing based off week 1. I know it's a division game that they had last week as well. So, those are just very different. But based on what we saw last week, just, they didn't look like that team that we saw in the Super Bowl last week, and they escaped with the victory. 2 big things for this game. Landon Dickerson, their starting left guard, might not play with a back and knee injury that he's nursing. So if that's the case, hopefully Chris Jones can kind of get to the quarterback from the inside this week, keep him there on the inside. Jalen Carter is playing, the famous spit, and a lot of people thought he should be suspended for this game. He is playing, so that'll be a difference maker for them. But us, they don't have any injuries outside the Xavier Worthy to look at. We're all go. I do think, with the Super Bowl loss, however, we got our asses kicked, and coming off a loss and going back to Arrowhead, I do think we're going to have a little bit of kind of a revenge game at play here. And of course, Eagles won last week, so there's a little difference in coming off a win. I know it was a sloppy win, but they don't have that extra motivation. We have the Super Bowl motivation as well as the loss last week motivation going into this 425 game on Fox. So yeah, I think I fully expect the Chiefs to win and bounce back after this Chargers loss.
All the momentum, Marcus, all the momentum may be heading into this game. And momentum is a big thing. I know that. Samoa knows that. So it can certainly go a long, long way. James, who do you have winning this game against the Eagles and the Chiefs?
Chiefs cannot go down 0-2. So this is kind of a desperation game. I think they have got to find a way to win this one. I would definitely put the Chiefs at this one. It's going to be a tight one. And to be honest, it's the Chiefs play a lot of those kind of close games pretty much all the time. I swear last year was always close games. The amount of one-score games that we talked about earlier in the podcast too. I think the Chiefs will find a way to win this one. It's probably going to be a pretty close one to a 21-17 Chiefs type game. I could totally see that being the case. So I'm just going to stick with that. I'll go with the Chiefs 21-17 on this one. I'll keep it short and brief.
Ryan, are you also going to pick the Chiefs, or are you going to pick the defending Super Bowl champions?
I'm going to pick the Eagles, especially after that injury with Worthy. You guys are just kind of banged up. And Worthy was doing a lot of damage in the Super Bowl towards the end. Of course, it was garbage time at that point. But with him probably being out, and then you already have Rashee Rice out as well, I think it's going to be a rough night for the Chiefs. Not saying like you guys are going to get blown out, but I'm just saying like in terms of your skill players there. And then, of course, Jalen Carter's going to be back. Hopefully he doesn't spit on anyone this time. He'll do some damage in there in the trenches. So, yeah, I think I'm going to take the safe pick. I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one, especially after last week, the Chiefs going down. Nothing against the Chiefs. I just think just how things are right now situationally just makes more sense to pick the Eagles.
That's fair. It's a 1.5 point spread. I think FanDuel has it as Chiefs favored by 1.5. DraftKings has the Eagles favored by 1.5.
Which is crazy for who you guys have out. It's pretty crazy.
Which the betting side of me thinks the Chiefs win that based on that spread.
Interesting. Well, we got Ryan being the first one to pick the Eagles. Samoan, are you also going to pick the Eagles and make it a split, or are you going to leave Ryan as the only one picking the Eagles?
I guess it's going to be an even split because I'm going to go with the Eagles just for the mere fact that that defense is crazy, and seeing what they did last week with the Cowboys. I think that's going to be a great matchup as well, kind of like the Chiefs and the Chargers. But at the end of the day, seeing what we've seen from the Eagles last week, I'm going to pick them. And then obviously as a Raider fan, I just want to see the Chargers. Of course, the Chargers too, but the Chiefs lose another week. But we'll see what happens though. But I'm going to go with the safe pick as well with the Eagles.
Let's go ahead and let's move on to the division game here of the week. We got the Chargers. We got the Raiders. James, we're going to give you the floor. Preview this game for us.
Monday Night Football. Chargers basically had 10 days off, give or take, to get to this game. They've had a kind of a mini bye coming back from Brazil. They got a lot of off time with this one. The NFL did design the schedule specifically for the Chargers since they gave up a home game to basically play this one on Monday night. So kind of gave him a breather here and everything too. So Pete Carroll versus Jim Harbaugh rivalry is back. And that's a fun one to watch back from the Stanford USC days. That was a good one to see. So I'm excited to see that kind of being renewed. Obviously, decades later, that rivalry has been renewed. Now, I'm going to say one thing about this game. Like, my biggest concern about this is coming off of a high of beating the Chiefs and having a dominant game, a fantastic game out in Brazil. Would they kind of hold back a little bit? I know Jim Harbaugh talked a little bit about that earlier this week, saying, hey, look, pedal to the metal, guys. These guys came in and started working immediately on Monday. They started coming back into work, and they're as focused as they possibly can be. We'll see about that. I hope that there's not going to be a lull to it. This game, Raiders, Chargers, talent for talent, position by position. Chargers, I think, are way more talented, all top to bottom. And they're still trying to figure out the culture with the Raiders still, too. If Justin Herbert is going to use his legs, and the reason why this is going to be the X factor of the game, it was an X factor for that Chiefs game. I think they'll have a much more probable of a blowout in this game, in my opinion. Go with that Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey combo out there with Quentin Johnson on the outside for going against CB3. It's going to be a tough situation to cover all of those players. Watch the Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey combo when they were on the field on the left side on the Keenan Allen touchdown. Basically made Jaden Hicks look like he was spinning like a top and had no idea what to do in that situation. So there's a lot more weapons with the Chargers versus the Patriots. Chargers, I think, have the advantage on almost top to bottom, in my opinion. So I think the Chargers come away on a blowout win on Monday Night Football. Second primetime game with a win and going 2-0 in the division.
Chargers come out with a blowout win against an in-division rival, Raiders. Both of these teams, Chargers and Raiders, obviously coming off of wins in week 1. And Simone, when I saw your face when James said that, doesn't seem like you agree very much. You're obviously the other half of this game. So preview this for us. What are your thoughts and who do you have winning?
Well, I think it's obvious who I have winning, but I don't think this is going to be a blowout by any means. I also don't think top to bottom they're better overall. There are some positions where they're better than us, but I feel like we match up pretty well. And Justin Herbert, I give him kudos, but I feel like what we did last week and going into a rivalry like this, it's any given Sunday. And this is a matchup coming back home here, home opener game. It's going to be on prime time, and I feel like we do real well against the Chargers on prime time, no matter if it's Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. But it's going to be a big test for the Raiders for sure. But seeing what I seen from last week going into this week, we got a lot of pieces here offensively that I don't know if the Chargers can stop, but we'll have to wait and see. I feel like this is a game where Ashton Jency's finally gonna kind of like break out a little bit more because he got his first game under his belt already. And then you got to remember that Geno Smith, Dome Geno, is different from outside Geno. So I feel like this is going to be a big game either way. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do definitely see the Raiders coming out with this victory. But at the end of the day, I like to see fan bases dream a little bit.
Marcus, let's go on up to you. Who do you have winning this game?
So Chargers are a 3.5-point favorite according to sportsbooks I'm seeing here. I don't know, 3.5 points against a team that just beat, the AFC powerhouse and the Chiefs last week. It looks like 90% of the public money is on the Chargers in this one. 3.5 points coming off an emotional victory. I think I'm going with Geno and the Raiders. And I looked it up. Pete Carroll's head-to-head with Jim Harbaugh all time, 6-6. 2-1 in college and 4-5 in the NFL. But I would say I think Raiders pull off a dub on Monday Night Football, man.
Wow, build up there, Marcus, was shocking.
That was good, Marcus. That was good. That was good. I'll give it to you. I didn't see that one coming. I thought I knew where it was going.
I like it.
And then he took a turn on me.
I think he wants the Raiders to win just to get a little bit of revenge from that week 1.
Let's even things out a little bit. Let's even things out a little bit.
Trying to do. I get it.
All right, Ryan. Come on, Ryan.
Ryan, it's all you, man. Who you got winning?
Really?
Chargers, man. I'm going to take the Chargers.
Let's go.
Listen. Just after last week, watching both of the teams, I got to take the Chargers on this. But I do agree with Marcus. I think if the Raiders do win, I definitely think that they can. It is part of, that emotional buildup from last week. But this is a division rival. So it's always pretty evenly matched. So I guess we'll see sooner rather than later. But if I had to put my money on it, I'm gonna take the Chargers. Justin Herbert looked really, really good last week. And I'll give Justin Herbert his credit every single day when it comes to the regular season. It's just the playoffs where it matters, is where I'm still skeptical about him.
Ryan, this is where we're going to kick it off to you. Your Denver Broncos are going to be playing the Colts. Both of you are coming off on wins. One of you is going to take your first loss here of the season, but Daniel Jones looking like 2022 Daniel Jones blowing out Tua and the Dolphins there. What are your thoughts on this game?
We both came off wins, but one of us came off an ugly win. We still have something to prove. They're on their high horse right now, especially Daniel Jones. You know, he's probably feeling himself right now, and he's going to have to go up against one of the top 3 defenses. I think right now we're ranked number 1 because of last week. So I think we're going to punch him in the mouth. I think we're going to, maybe the offense is going to look like a juggernaut, but they're going to look a lot better. I'm saying like 31 to like 10 or 15, right around there. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the shit out the ball. Bo's going to be dotting it up pretty consistently. Nothing too crazy. I hope he doesn't throw more than like 30 times. I don't want to get anywhere near 40 times. But I think it's going to be a much more efficient game, and they're going to show that, unlike last year, it's not going to take them as long to get things going, and they're putting in the work this week.
All right, so Ryan's taking his Denver Broncos. Samoan, let's go on over to you. Are you taking the Broncos or are you taking the Colts?
As much as it pains me to say real quick, I got the Broncos winning this one, only because of that defense too. You know, I feel like Daniel Jones, he had that Derek Carr game from last year. I feel like with the Saints where everything just looks crazy. But I think when you come back down to reality, that defense is definitely going to keep the Broncos in the game. And I don't think Bo Nix can play any worse than he played last week. So I just got to give the edge this week to the Broncos.
Edge this week to the Broncos. Marcus, let's go on up to you. Are you going to make it 3 out of 3 Broncos?
I'm just looking at the spread here again. So Colts are a 2.5-point dog at home against the Broncos. Colts actually are a pretty good team at home, 5-3 last year at home. You know, the Chiefs have a weird thing of playing at Indianapolis. If you look through the years, that's always a game we play at Indianapolis. That's a game we lose no matter how good or how bad they are. So I just wanted to take a deep dive on the Broncos. Last 7 games where the Broncos have traveled to Indianapolis, they are 1-6. So I'm going to go Indianapolis. I think Indianapolis takes down the Broncos.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Ryan, you might want to hold back on that trip, bud.
Hey, that was either we were going there with Peyton or we were going up against Peyton. Peyton had some weird things going on with the Colts each time we played them, even when they came to Denver. So he's gone. This is a whole different crew now.
James, are you also going to make it Colts and make this one an even split?
I don't even know if the Colts are a real team yet. It's hard for me to think that Daniel Jones is really this guy all of a sudden. Now, I understand the system could change a quarterback and everything too, but I just don't know if I could really put money on the Colts at this point. You know, Ryan did pick the Chargers, so him and I, we're buddies right now. We're all good. So I'll pick the Broncos in this one. I think they got a good shot at it. I think their defense is just so dang good. It's just about, can you get second half of 2024 Bo Nix back? That's the thing about this. Bo Nix needs to basically step up somewhere or another and be that guy in second half of 2024. We can't have this slow start. Got to figure it out somewhere or another. And I think personally, they got to get that run game going early. They got to get things rocking really quickly through the pass game, through short passes or whatnot. Just get him flowing throughout this game. So, but I'm choosing the Broncos on this one.
We will see you guys live next Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, as always, to break down everything that happened in week 2 and preview week 3.